Every term, this house drowns in school letters. Trip forms, parents' evening, term dates, lunches, activities, non-uniform days, and I always find out, and when I say find out, I obviously mean remember, too late. So I did what every IT team does when information is scattered everywhere. Create one single source of truth where everything can be referenced nice and easily from one place. One AI fed every school document we have. So coming up, how I set this up in NotebookLM in 10 minutes, the things it nailed and the one thing that it didn't get quite right. But more importantly, by the end of this video, you'll be able to take all this nonsense and say goodbye to the paper chaos. Let's get into it. Now, the tool we're going to use today is a free one from Google called NotebookLM. I've done videos about it before. I'll put the link down in the description so you can go and check that out as well. It's incredibly helpful, incredibly powerful, and incredibly underrated and underused. So today, I'm going to show you exactly how to use it to build out this parent OS to help control all of this absolute school chaos. So I'm going to come into NotebookLM. We're going to create a new notebook, and what you can do with NotebookLM is you can drop in pretty much anything. So you can paste in links from websites, you can drop in documents, and that's what we're going to do today. So I'm just going to drag in and upload a bunch of school documents. The names of people and establishments have been changed to protect the innocent. So what I've got here is I've got a term calendar, last 3 newsletters from the school. We've got a letter that came home about a school trip, my daughter's timetable when she needs PE kits and stuff, and the lunch catering menu for the twins' primary school. Now, bear in mind, my 3 kids are split across 2 schools. So the twins in primary school, my daughter in secondary school. So that just adds to the admin overload. Now, once we've got all of these uploaded and in place, we now have a whole variety of options of all kinds of different cool and useful things that we can do. So the screen's split into 3 here. So we've got our sources on the left that we've just uploaded. In the middle, we've got a chat window where we can, as you would do with a normal AI tool, come in and chat and ask questions, ask it to create anything and do anything with those sources. And then on the right-hand side in the studio, you've got a whole bunch of options where you can create audio overviews, mind maps, flashcards, infographics, data tables, etc. All super helpful for various different things. So let's just do some quick tests, shall we? So we've uploaded all of the documents here. So a nice, simple one to start will be, let's just ask some questions about it. Nice and simple. When does summer term end? And boom, there we go. It's pulled the right information for both of the schools and given us some handy follow-up questions that we can ask it. So that is super easy. That's super cool. The other thing as well, NotebookLM does have a mobile app. Once you've uploaded all your bits and bobs here on the website, you can access this on your mobile, on the app, so you can come in and ask it live questions from your phone whilst you're waiting at the school gate. All right, so moving on. Next thing I want to know. The boys have got a school trip coming up. For the life of me, can't remember any of the details. So I'm going to come in here. We'll ask it out. So a specific question about this school trip that I know is coming up, but I've slept since I've read the letter. Here we go. So year 2 school trip is on Wednesday, the 14th of October. And is a voluntary contribution of £12.50. I do love a good school voluntary contribution, don't you? Always so voluntary. I remember when I was at secondary school, we would get dragged into the head's office if we daren't ever fulfill the voluntary contribution for anything. All right, perfect, good stuff. So what else can we do? So we've asked it 2 questions so far that you get answers from a single document. Let's test it a little bit. Let's see if we can get it going across documents. All right, so next question, the dreaded. Are there any non-uniform days coming up? And I'm keeping it vague, remembering there's 2 separate schools in the sources here. And there we go. Relatively quickly, it's scanned all the documents and it's given me the next 2 non-uniform days for both of the schools. Again, with the nice suggested voluntary donation. Brilliant. Love that. Now, if you can relate to any of this school chaos and I'm thinking this would be super useful, head down there, drop us a subscribe and a like. New videos out every Thursday aimed at helping you make the best use of AI to help make your life that little bit more organized and easier. Let's get back to it. Okay, next question. Let's make it think a little bit more. Now, I'm not going to give it easy stuff like this is exactly what I'm searching for. I'm going to give it a kid's name and I'm going to make it go and search for a date. So it's got to figure out what the date of this Wednesday is, and then it's got to scan the docs and come back and tell me what it is that she needs. All right, good stuff. There we go. So if it's week A, games. If it's week B, it's replaced by drama. Now, I can't remember if the sources tell you which is week A and week B. So let's have a look. Oh, it doesn't. That would have been super handy. But that's on me. That's not at all. I've not given it the information. But that's fine. We live and we learn. Moving on. Next question. The planted contradiction. Not that I would have, intentionally tried to make this slip up or anything. Now, I'm going to ask it when I need to return the slip for this school trip. Now, let's run it and see what it does. There's a planted tripwire in here. I want to see how it handles it. Perfect, and it has indeed picked it up. So the tripwire here was, as you can see, the letter says one date, the newsletter says another date, and I wanted to see what it would do with that. And it's figured it out, and it's come back and told me about that. So that's perfect. That's good stuff. Okay, thing I want to test it on. And again, this is a little tripwire. So I'm going to ask it, when is sports day? And there we go. That is exactly what I wanted to come back and tell me. So I've asked it for information that I haven't provided. And what the concern is sometimes with AI is it will just hallucinate and just return nonsense. But because it's accessing the specific sources you've given it, it will only pull from it, and it will tell you when it can't find it. So this is perfect. So the final thing I want to do is basically a week planner. So Sunday night, super busy, trying to plan for the week, looking ahead, and let's see what everyone's got on. So I've asked it to give me a breakdown of everything for next week. Told it that for Isabel it's week A next week. Remember, we didn't have that information in the sources. Activities, lunches, things I need to remember. Plan my week, please. And while it's doing that, on the right hand side here we see the studio items. I'm going to go in KED and kick off a couple of these just so we've got an example of what this might look like. Okay, so it's come back. So it's given us the information for Isabel. I've told her it's week A, so here is week A. Baseline assessments in English, Maths and Science this week. Broken down day by day of what she needs for each day. Super good, super useful. Josh and Ez, the primary school side. It's on week 2 of the menu next week. Keep that in mind. The ever popular roast dinner day. Now, what I would have liked is for it to have listed out all of those lunches for me. And there you go, it's broken down the rest of the rate. It's given me all my upcoming deadlines and dates to remember. Here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and just ask it what is on the lunch menu. That's what I want to know. I need to know if something's on the menu they're not going to eat, and I need to get up an extra 20 minutes early to make packed lunch. That's all I care about. Okay, here, so it's now broken down the week 2 school lunch menu for me as well and served that up for me. So I can look down there and I know that one of the twins isn't going to eat chili. One of them will eat the sausages, they'll both probably eat the chicken pitters, and they will both eat fish and chips on a Friday. Something to bear in mind as well that I didn't say at the start is you'll see as we go down, it's little citations in, and that's just showing you which document it's pulling those answers from. So if you're ever not sure anything or you want to actually get to the source, it's just there on the citation. You can click on it, it will take you to the specific document that it's pulled that information from, which is super useful. And as I say, you can put links in here as well in your sources. So you can put your school websites in here. And shared drives you got as well that have all the information in. Just put free text in as well, which is super useful. Right, moving over to what we've got over here on the side in the studio. The other thing it's done for me, I've asked it for, is the mind map over here. And again, so it's consolidated all of that information. And I've not given any prompts or told it what to do. You can. Yeah, here you go. So it's broken down the academic calendar for me, so I can come in here relatively quickly and go spring term 2027, and it gives me all the dates here, which is nice. I can go to specific schools. Here we go. Year 2 key stage 1, so it's giving me the topics they're doing, when parents evening is. Here is the school trip that I was asking about earlier, details about after school clubs, etc, etc, etc. Important notices the non-uniform day that inevitably we'll forget about. The idea being is that if there's a way and a method that will be able to present this information back to you in the way that you best receive it. So if having stuff visually is easier for you to break down and understand and something like that, mind map is super cool. Another thing you can kick off here is an audio overview. And what that'll do initially is it will generate a podcast based on all the information. But there's a feature in there which allows you to interact with the podcast. So the presenters will start presenting stuff and you can interrupt them and ask them questions with your voice. They will then go and reference the source material to get the answer. So if you just prefer talking, then you can absolutely talk to this and ask it questions and have it talk back and give you the answers, which is super cool. So there we have it. There is how NotebookLM can be used to help organize and tame your family's school chaos. And not just school chaos as well. You can chuck any information here as well. So you can put all your school stuff in here. You can put all the stuff in about their after school stuff. Do they play a sport on a sports team that has loads of information? Then guides, cubs, scouts, all the information with that as well. You can bang in here as well, and then it will consolidate it all in a nice, easy way for you to come and question and digest. Now, the good thing is, as I said before, is it will only reference the sources that you've given it. You can enable web search if you think that would be useful, but then you are opening up yourself to more chances of hallucination or incorrect information coming in. So once all the information's in there and you keep it updated with your newsletters and stuff as they come in, you can just open your phone, you can question it, you can type in questions. There's a voice mode on there as well, you can talk to it. Incredibly simple, incredibly easy, keeps things nice and organized. So the verdict: a single source of truth fixes one thing completely. Information that's scattered everywhere and never changes once it's written down. Now, ask it what's already in the document, and that beats digging through my Gmail every single time. But what it can't do is keep itself current. That letter that lands there tonight isn't in here until you put it in there. So it's a reference system, not an assistant per se. But that's fine, because the scattered paper problem was the one wasting my time. Now, I built this one up to help at home. Next, I'm taking the same thinking into work, where my company only sanctions one AI tool, and I've got 3 running inside it. If that's your world too, subscribe as well. That'll be coming out next week. Then tell me, is this going to make your life any easier? Are you going to give it a go? I would love to hear your experiences down below. Drop me a comment and hit me up on socials down below. Appreciate you all watching. Stay peachy.